Hi everybody, my name's Jane and I'm the Cornish Knitter. Welcome to my channel. This video I'm going to talk about my trip to Unravel. In the last video I made a pledge that I was only going to buy a sweater's quantity of yarn. I did stick to that pledge, but oops, I bought quite a lot. So I will be going through what I bought. It is in the I did do it as a sort of piece of research because I'm looking at stocking some of these yarns in the shop honestly. But yeah, I'm going to go through that. At the end I went round and sort of chatted to some of the store holders that I loved, so I've got some footage of that and them introducing their yarn, so I hope you find that interesting. I'm going to go through a couple of things that I'm working on and something that I finished, and just talk very briefly about the launch of the Shawl cowl, which was last night. So thank you to those that joined in. It was an amazing evening once I got over the glitches of trying to do a live stream on YouTube, which apologies if some of you were waiting for a few minutes for us to appear. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about something we've been really excited about developing, which is a subscription service, Sock Club. So if you're interested in all of that, stay tuned. So those of you that have been following me for a while know that I can be really indecisive about what I'm knitting and we discussed it last time, didn't we? Get swayed with the latest patterns, the latest yarn, and all my plans go out the window. So I did go to Unravel, which is a yarn festival in the south of England. I was manning the stall with my other business head on, which was for the Royal Wool Company. We only have yarns in that company that are sort of the natural colour of the sheep, and they come from Cornish fleeces. But we've also been launching some new patterns this weekend, and one of the things that I hadn't been able to talk about was one of the patterns that I'd sort of been knitting up as a sample, but I will show you a little bit about that today. But no, we had a great weekend. It was blisteringly hot. I know some of you in lots of other countries have experienced really extreme temperatures, but we're British, we don't do the heat very well. But it was excessively hot, and in September for the UK it was really, really humid as well. So where we were, I think the temperatures rose to about 34 degrees. Whilst we were in the most stunning building, which was an old sort of malting sort of brewery building, it didn't have any air conditioning, and we were on the top floor, so hot air rises. And we also had skylights which didn't have blinds that worked, so the sun was streaming down. You get in the morning, it was already warm at sort of 8 o'clock, and by the time people started pouring in and more bodies were added to the mix, it was pretty uncomfortable. So yeah, really sort of thank you to anybody that came along and spoke to us, because anybody that was brave enough to come in and buy yarn in those temperatures, I salute you, because I'm not sure I would have done that, even though I'm a complete yarn addict. What was lovely about going to that yarn festival and being on that stand was that, my goodness, so many of you came up and said hello and introduced yourselves and sort of talked to me about this vlog, this podcast. And I was so moved that so many of you, I touched so many of you with just my ramblings. So I really, really appreciated those people taking the time to seek me out and coming and chatting with me. A number of you have also either visited Falmouth or plan to visit Falmouth on the back of watching the vlog, so that's great too. As you know, I'm very proud of where I live, and anything I can do to share that with you is a bonus, and I'm glad many of you have found that you've really enjoyed the experience too. But yes, I think, well, over the course of 2 days, I think anything up to about 45-50 people came up and introduced themselves, and it was really lovely to have the time to actually chat to people face to face. So a really good experience. Should probably mention, you've seen this before, Ranunculus, you know, you've all seen Ranunculuses. This one is knitted in a 2 yarns held together, which is the fibre company Amble, can't remember the colour, it's the navy colour, I will put it in the notes, and also the Kremke Silky Kid in the navy. So I held those together. It's a little bit warm, but the temperatures in Cornwall are quite a bit cooler than they were when I was up at the Yarn Festival, so a more comfortable wear today, but I couldn't wear, apart from obviously essentials, I couldn't wear anything underneath it today because it would have been too warm. So that's what I'm wearing. Just on the sort of thought about holding two yarns together, had discussions with loads of people over the weekends about how many designers are designing sort of sweaters and garments that are using 2, sometimes 3 strands of different yarns held together, and in some ways I wish they stop. It makes it so expensive to buy if you can't readily get your hands on those 3 yarns, and if designers are going to do that, then at least give the alternative single strand weight of the yarn. So if it's, you know, if it's a fingering with a mohair or a Surrey alpaca held together, sort of say whether the gauge would knit up to a sport weight or a DK weight, or, you know, just make it easier for people to make it more affordable, because many people just can't afford to knit those designs that are, I've seen so many recently that have got like 3 different yarns held together, and it's just like, oh come on, let's be reasonable here. And I do think, you know, not everybody likes the fluff either, so I would be really interested to hear your thoughts on that. You know, I love natural fibres, and but I also recognise that things have to be affordable for people, and I want as many people as possible to appreciate and enjoy the beauty of knitting with something that's naturally sourced, whether that's off an animal or whether that's from a plant base. It is an amazing feeling to knit something with those natural fibres, but I don't like the fact that designers are getting more and more elitist. So, you know, using things like spin cycle yarns, for example, all the time, beautiful yarn, but there are alternatives. So making sure that people can actually sort of access these lovely designs that they're creating in a way that's affordable for them. So I'm off my soapbox, but yeah, it's just that so many people had that discussion with me and sort of said, oh, I wish designers would be more open about sort of what weight yarn you could actually supplement that with to create the same gauge. And I know you can swatch and you can experiment, but hey, who can afford to do that, and who has the time to do that all the time? So yeah, I'm totally about sort of making knitting, making crafting as accessible as it can be to everybody. So one of the things that I have been working on, which I couldn't share with you before Unravel because it wasn't going to launch, and I'm not going to keep this on for very long, but it was this shawl here. So I don't know whether you can see it really clearly. So this shawl here is a lovely, it's like a big warm hug, but as I said, it's a bit warm to wear it today. But this is one of the Raw Wool Company's new designs, and it's called the Crab Pot Shawl. So the design is inspired by the crab pots that are in Cornwall. They are usually sort of used by the fishermen to collect crabs and lobsters, and they quite often in the past were made of sort of willow and twine, but they perished quite quickly, so they were always needing to be repaired and replaced, and now more subsequently have been replaced with sort of a sort of nylon twine or something to make them. But this pattern here is inspired by that. It's a DK pattern, asymmetrical shawl. It's knitted on the bias, so you knit from one corner out to the not on the bias actually, no, you knit it from the singlest corner out to the widest point and then decrease back. It has an I-cord edge on the outside there, and on the inside, this is an optional, but I decided to do a crab stitch, which is a crochet stitch, because I liked that sort of twine, and I thought it gave, because it was crab stitch, I thought it was good for the pattern, but I thought it gave a nice finish. You don't have to do that finish. It's very nice on its own, and especially once you've blocked it. But it's a mix of knits and pearls, as you can see. So really easy to do and really easy to follow. So once you get into the rhythm, quite an easy TV knit. I knitted it in John Arbon Knit by Numbers. Can't remember what colour it is. I will look that up and let you know what colour it is. But we will be getting that colour in the shop. It's all ordered and we're hoping it will be in at the end of September. So if you did want that particular yarn, we're getting a lot of other colours as well. But if you liked this particular colour yarn, we are getting a lot of it in at the end of this month, and I can let you know when it's in, or just email me and I'll let you know when it's gonna come in. So that's my one finished object that I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you loads of whips. I'm still working on my field sweater, again with Knit by Numbers by John Arbon. I'm down to the first sleeve. I'm just down to the cuff and sort of debating whether to put a little bit of that wheat grain design at the cuff end, but I didn't bring that in to show you because, as I said, I'll show you when it's finished, and I didn't want the video to be massive or too long, and you know, a bit boring to see the same thing over and over again if it hasn't sort of been completed. And what else have I been? Oh, I've been working on the teddy clutch, and I've finished the outside, but again I'll show you that next time because I've just got to do the lining and assemble it basically, and I think it will be much nicer to show you when it's finished. One of the other things, you know, last time I talked about the Falmouth Harbour hat. This time I've got a blue one. This here is, anybody that's not familiar with it, is what you use for a tubular cast on. So you cast on with a different colour yarn, and you do sort of on the method that I used anyway. After you've cast on, you do about 4 setup rows before you go on to sort of into your 1x1 rib. I do love how it looks at the end, and you just pull this out when you're ready to sort of finish off your knitted garment. But I actually quite like those colours together, don't you? But anyway, that will be coming out. But this is the blue version, so we've got them in lots of versions. And I think, speaking to Nikki, she's going to come in and see me this week, but I think she's going to release the Falmouth Harbour mitts. And once that comes out, we'll be having the kits online. But so those are the things that I've been working on. So back to Unravel. And so I bumped into a number of podcasters. There was Martin, the Welsh tenor, I think he is, on Instagram, and then I think his podcast is called Knit 365. He was lovely to have a quick chat with, and he gave me some advice about YouTube Live. So sorry, Martin, I still mucked it up when I started. I also met Kat from Heather and Hops. She was helping out a friend on one of her stands. And Laura Penrose was there from Laura Penrose Knits, and it was lovely to see her in person, and I had a little bit of a fan moment when I saw her, because I do love her patterns. And if you haven't checked out any of those podcasters, do go and have a look at what they're producing. So they're amazing. And what I did like as well about being at Unravel, so many of those businesses there are run by, they're small independent businesses run by predominantly women who are just doing this because they have a passion for fibre and they're really creative. And it was lovely to be able to talk to them and sort of share our experiences and support each other, because, you know, I think it's really important in the fibre community that we support these local small creatives as much as we can. So without much further ado, I'm going to show you all the stuff that I bought, but I need to show you the bag that I actually carried it all home in. So this bag here is from Nellie and Eve, and I've emptied it to be able to show you, but this was bursting at the seams. So this is a tie top bag made out of Welsh wool. So Helen, who owns Nellie and Eve, makes these herself. They're only available on her website. So it's recycled Welsh wool, and she lines it with a beautiful lining. She did have another colour there, and it's got a huge great pocket inside, but it was perfect for carrying all of my yarn. but I have unpacked it so that I can show you it now. So probably the first one I should show you is the yarn from Nellie and Eve, and she had lots of different yarns there, and anything that I've purchased with a view to either probably stocking in the shop and had conversations with the business owners about what we could do together and how we could support each other, but also they were all sort of British wools, natural fibres, obviously, and non-superwash yarns that I was sort of focusing on. So this yarn here, I just love this colour. I kept on looking at it. She had a cardigan as a sample knitted up in it, and I just thought it's a lovely fresh colour that is sort of flattering to most people. This wool is called Trisori Treasure, and I know that was a Welsh word. I can't for the life of me remember what it meant, but it is 100% Welsh wool. She had other different sort of bases there, but all sort of really local to her. She's a natural dyer, so she sort of has colours that sort of reflect nature. This is a 4-ply. It's got 380 meters, and one of the other samples she had there was called the Dead Easy Sweater, which was a little bit similar to this Ranunculus. Very simple to do, top-down sweater with an eyelet design as the yoke, cropped, that you wore over dresses. It's a drop shoulder, so you can have it as sleeveless, or you could add sleeves. It didn't take much yarn. I think it took about 600 meters of yarn, again like the Ranunculus, because it's knit on bigger needles. The design is by Karen Fernandez. It's on Ravelry, and I'll put the link up. But I thought I would knit this as a sample because I really loved the freshness of that colour. And then I did chat to Helen about having some kits of some of her other yarn bases and some sort of mini kits, because I think her yarn would be really good for colour work. So that was Nellie and Eve. Go and check out her website. As well as that big bag there, she did some lovely notion purses as well, with little sort of magnetic clip top. And I really regret not buying one at the show. So I'm probably going to have to go on her website and buy one, because they were really lovely, and I really wish I'd bought one. You know, it's one of those things that you come away and thought, yeah, I actually should have picked it up. One of the other yarn suppliers that I'd not met before was a lady called Kerry, called the Ginger Pink Yarns. Again, a natural dyer. She grows all the natural dyes in her own garden, dyes onto British bases. These are 4-ply. So this is Exmoor Sock, and this is Harvest Hues, both from sort of bases from John Arbon, down in Devon, so our neighbour up in Devon. So I thought these were lovely colours together, and I'm going to knit the Kids Porty Cardigan by Gudrun Johnson, which is a colour work little cardie, sort of with a little sort of button fastening here, and we needed some children's samples for the shop, so I thought this would be a lovely little one in sort of neutral colours that would be a lovely little sample to knit up. The other thing that Kerry had was a lovely pressed flower shawl, which I really loved, and I'll put the designer up below. But she had it in this colourway, and although we've had kits, and we still have kits, ours are all sort of sea themed and a different base. So there's a sort of like a alpaca type base, whereas this is a sort of, well, this yarn is BFL and Gotland, so it's a lovely soft base, but a little bit more woolly. But the sample she had was stunning, so I picked up this yarn to knit another one of those as a sample for the shop, and we're going to get kits of both of these in the shop, both for the children's cardigan and the pressed flower shawl, in the next few months. So really excited about that, and she was lovely, chatting to her, and I loved everything that she was producing. So one of the other yarns that we are getting soon anyway, and we've got a big order in, is with Beth at Telling Yarns. We've always loved Beth's yarns from the very beginning, really, but this colour was calling to me on the stand, and I know we've got a load coming, but I thought actually I'm going to take this away with me, because I kept on looking at it and I really loved it. This is her Resolute base, which is the 4-ply. She also has Steadfast, which is a DK. This base is spun specially for Beth at John Arbon's Mills again, so it's a bit of a theme going on, isn't there? So it's 50% Blue Face Leicester, 30% Romney, 15% Masham, 5% Swart Balls. It has 400 meters per skein, 100 gram skein, and I'm going to knit the Illa sweater, which is by Orlane Susha, might be that, might not be the way you pronounce it, so forgive me if I've completely made a hash of that. But I've loved that jumper. I've seen several of our customers in it, and I've always sort of thought I really would like to knit it, and I thought this colour would be a really nice colour to knit it in. So I'm really looking forward to that, and hopefully I can get that knitted before all of Beth's yarns arrive in the shop. Another one that I really liked and I'd not come across before was called the Fibre Workshop, and a lady called Jen who owned it, again, is a natural dyer, and her base is a Norfolk horn, and she dyes onto that base. But she had some amazing kits and she designs her own patterns, and she's had some lovely patterns. So this yarn here is going to become so this is her pattern here. So it is a slip over colour work, but it's a tabard, and she has buttons up either side, and I really liked the design of it. So I'm going to knit it in those colours with the cream as the base, and then those other three as the colour work. And she also had some lovely mittens and a lovely shawl and hat sort of kits as well with her yarn. So again, I had a quick chat with her, and we're going to sort of sort out something where we have some kits of her produce too, because as a business here at Stitches and Cream, we really do want to work with and support other small British creatives, and particularly sort of really tiny micro businesses like ourselves, which are family owned and run, because we think that's really important that we all support each other. So that's that. I got some needles. I've only got one pair of the Licker interchangeables, and I'm always using 4mm and 3.5mm needles. So actually I thought I'll pick some of these up and give them a go, and I got several different cables. And one of the other things that I got, which I really loved, was this crochet hook, and it's made of ebony, and they also had knitting needles, and it's from a company called the Haberdasher Bee. I think it was made from ebony, yeah, ebony wood. But it's lovely and smooth, and I'm interested to see in terms of ergonomics and how tactile it is to use. So that was another thing I bought. So as you can see, I had quite a haul, but I was quite disciplined in the respect that I've only bought yarn that we're going to be having in the shop, so I can knit samples in advance of getting some of that stuff in the shop. So I was pretty good. I also, as I said earlier, you know, the Royal Wool Company, I've mentioned that I was going to knit the Galanta by Carol Feller as a slip over. And we have a limited edition yarn. I've got it on a cone. We do have it obviously on the website, so the Royal Wool Company website, but this is Rum and Raisin. We do also stock it here in the shop. This is Rum and Raisin. It's a really bitter chocolate sort of colour. It's a blend of Swart Balls and British Wensleydale sheep, and I thought that that particular slip over with the V-neck and the design would be stunning in this. So this is one I'm going to be casting on soon. The Shawl Knit Along launched last night, and we had loads of people join us, and it was so lovely to be able to chat to people online and see all the comments and see who's joining in. And there were so many comments about people saying what a friendly community we're creating. So we have got a Ravelry group, which is the Cornish Knitter Shawl Cal. We did have kits, but we've virtually sold out of the kits. But there's no reason, if you've got your own stash, that you can't join in. Fran, who is one of our lovely customers here, who's like a complete knitting guru, and comes regularly to our sort of social events. She joined me last night. She's going to be knitting the Aster shawl. I'm going to be knitting the Erissamum shawl. And we're going to be working with everybody, knitting our shawls, chatting, sharing sort of any sort of things that come up, but it's just social, and it was really just lovely to get it launched last night and see so many people wanting to take part. We will be doing lots more of them, but it's just my first one, and I was really nervous about it. So anybody that talked to me at Unravel will know how nervous I was about doing the live stream. And there was probably good reason for me being nervous about that, seeing as it was a bit of a problem getting it actually to go live. But once I got over that hurdle, it will be fine. I think our next one is 7 o'clock British Summer Time, this Friday, the 15th of September, and then we'll be doing them fortnightly thereafter. So hopefully the people that are taking part will be showing what they're doing on Instagram and on Ravelry and other places, and we'll be able to share that with you as people progress. So the last thing I wanted to sort of talk about before showing you some clips of Unravel this weekend was we have been working really hard in the background on something that's been secret, which is a subscription sock club. I know how addictive socks are, and I know many of you do as well. I love sock knitting. It's something I love doing in the summer as well as the winter, because they're portable, they're sort of light to do. So we've been sort of working with a small group of people who've been subscribing to our sock club so that we could get it to a place where it was sort of where we felt that it was at the right place to be able to share with a much wider network of people. So what is it? So the sock club is a subscription service. So you pay monthly, and then every other month you get a sock box. So the first one is sort of is like this. So in the first one you get your sock, yarn, and we're always going to have British yarns in the sock club because we want to promote both the British wool industry and small independent British businesses. You have all the notions that you need to create your first pair of socks, and the needles here as well, so all the needles that you need. You have the pattern. The patterns are all going to be designed by us, and you won't be able to get them anywhere else for a period of time, so they're going to be our own designs. And each time you get a box, you'll be exploring new techniques, and this club is designed for both beginners and advanced knitters alike. So we want to, again, I'm all about sort of making sure people feel nurtured and supported. So even if you're quite new to sock knitting or never done it before, we want to create the right sort of place and support where you feel that you can actually knit your first pair of socks. But if you are more advanced, we'll be doing different techniques. Some will be top down, some will be toe up. We'll do different heels, we'll do different designs, colour work, all sorts each time. Along with the things that I've mentioned, each time we'll include a handmade gift from Cornwall, from one of our local creative businesses, to showcase what they can offer. And we'll give you a little bit of information each time about both the yarn and the creator of the gift that's in your box. You'll get these lovely hand-drawn, we've been working with a graphic artist to create some lovely hand-drawn images. So lovely hand-drawn sort of postcards, and in each one there is an instruction booklet with hand-drawn illustrations about how to create your socks. And alongside that, I've created a series of video tutorials for each sock, so that anybody that joins in with us can go to those as a reference library. And we also have social events too, so we'll be running sort of regular knitter natters with the sock club and Q&A sessions as the sort of each box comes out and the sock as you progress with your sock. So it's social, there's tutorials, you get to experience some beautiful yarns that you might never have come into contact with before. We've got our own patterns and our own beautiful designs. So if you are interested, it's launching very soon, hopefully this weekend coming. Do pop on and visit our website. It will be live over the next few days. And if you are interested, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we can get it out to you as long as you supply us with your address and all the details. But you do have to obviously sign up and subscribe, but all the details are on our website. So I just wanted to talk about that because we've been working really hard in the background, and I've mentioned that I've been knitting socks, and we've had 4 boxes go out to our testers, and they've been really successful, and we've been trying out different sock designs, but like really enjoyed knitting them, and they've got to experience some different yarns that they hadn't knitted with before. So that's our sock club. Watch out for it soon if you are interested. Sign up for it if you want to. We've got a dedicated newsletter. We've got, as I said, lots going on with it. So yeah, really excited about it, but it's been really hard keeping it a secret for so long. And we do plan to do a lot more sort of both subscription services and online sort of get-togethers and tutorials, but watch this space because there's more on that coming soon. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm just going to finish off with a little video of some of the lovely stall holders that were at Unravel. Some of them I got to speak to, others were off doing other things as I was going around with my camera. But I hope you'll agree with me. There are some fantastic small independent businesses out there who are creating some beautiful stuff, and I think it's really important to showcase it. So until next time, thank you for watching, and don't forget, like, subscribe and comment, because the more you comment, the more we build this lovely community. Bye folks. Early morning at Unravel as we get ready to open again for the day. Lovely building this, Farnham Maltings, obviously a converted brewery of some kind. Stunning entrance to the Maltings as we come in. Look at that, that's crocheted. I'm going to definitely have a go at that. Just show you around where we're based today. This lovely stand is cut by Cool Woolings, lovely vibrant shades. That's a Stephen West shawl. I need to ask which one it is because I'm not sure, but look at the work in that. And then there's a lovely lady here who does beautiful punch needle kits called Simple Crafted Life. Oh, look how smooth you do that as well. And here's us at the raw wool, the calm before the storm. Pigment and Ply, which is a lovely natural dyer. Jess isn't here yet, but I'm sure she won't mind me showing what she does. She's got some beautiful stuff here. Do check out her website. So another new to me is Ginger Pink. Loving these yarns. Sorry, what's your name?
It's Kerry.
Kerry's the owner. Go and check out their website. These are all naturally dyed by British plants, Kerry?
Yes.
So
I grow in my garden, or I go foraging. But yeah, all British grown plants, which is it's lovely.
So look at this beautiful display, and that colour work is stunning. That's a kit on your website, isn't it?
Yeah, these are actually special edition just for Unravel, so they're not even on the website. So you can only get those
at Unravel
this weekend.
Oh, right, but you will do other kits, I presume?
Will, absolutely, yes, yeah. I love doing them, so...
Oh, where was those beautiful socks that you had over here? So, look at these stunning colours. And these are all natural dyes as well. You get a really good depth of colour.
Absolutely, yeah, and they're all really complementary as well. So, you know, this is why these bundles work so well together, is because the colours just...
A close-up of that bundle, because that was one I bought yesterday, wasn't it? And I'll show it later in the video. Yeah, lovely.
It's called Hibernate, this
so I presume if you use natural dyes, they're always different whenever you...
Yeah, it's a tricky thing to kind of get exact every time, but there are certain colours that I seem to get spot on.
So from a sweater quantity perspective, I suppose you need to come from the same dye.
Yes,
lot.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, certainly, like, I can get the weld and the madder's pretty spot on, but sometimes when I go for, you know, it depends where it's being grown, what time of year the plants you're harvesting from.
And what's the base of these?
So that is a Gotland blue-faced Leicester, which is really lovely and soft.
It is gorgeous and soft.
And this is grab this a second. Dab.
No, that's fine. I can edit. Don't worry. Don't worry.
So
that's a pressed flower shawl.
Pressed flower shawl in madder pink and the natural grey.
That is fabulous.
Which is just a really lovely contrast.
It's
but
gorgeous.
It's just really gorgeous and drapey and just fab.
So this is wool decanted. Oh, it's all right. Oh, so this is wool decanted. We do stock this yarn in our shop, but this is Lisa. The owner's trying to avoid my camera. Sorry. And this is their new vintage shop. Ladies, please do go and shop. This is the vintage 23 range, which we'll be getting in. I'm knitting a shawl in 3 of these colours, and I'm just loving these shawls here. So Lynn and Lisa, who own Wool Decanted, base their sort of branding on their love of wine. So that's why you've got wine references here and a classic wine box display. But yeah, beautiful. Catching Beth's telling yarns. We're getting telling yarns in October, so you will be seeing these in the shop. But look at these stunning colours. So she has this in 4-ply and double knit. We're having the 4-ply to start with. And her yarn is a blend of, and she has this specially spun. Let's see what it is. Beth, I'm just, oh, there it is on the front of your label. I'm just recording and I was just talking about your yarn. So it is 30% Romney, 15% Masham, and my eyesight, 5% Swan. And the rest is made up of Blueface Leicester. Are you happy to be on my camera?
Yes, of course. Hello.
Meet Beth, the owner of Telling Yarns.
Back with my lunch.
Most important before the show starts, and there is a queue outside this morning.
Exciting.
So, yes. So beautiful, and I'm going to show you some of Beth's samples as well. I love your embroidery, Beth. That is stunning. Do go and give Beth a follow on Instagram and go visit her website as well to see everything that she's got on offer. There's a double knit. I'm going to be back later to buy more yarn for myself, my own projects. And here are some of her samples as well. So here we have Hedgerows, this beautiful shawl. And then we've got Northdale by Gudrun Jonsson, a nice sort of subtle fade, which I love. And this is her latest one, which is absolutely stunning, isn't it? She's adapted the pattern a bit, because Rosemary by Marzena Kolacek, I think on the pattern, this bit is actually joined and it goes up to the neck, but Beth decided to do a deeper V. But how stunning is that as a sample? So another stand that caught my eye was Fibre Workshop, run by Jen, I believe. So do go and give her a sort of a visit, go and follow her on Instagram and look at their website. But look at these stunning colours. And I believe the yarn is Norfolk Horn.
Yes,
so
a breeder sheep.
From Norfolk. Beautiful yarn, lovely colours. Do you know what dyes she uses? Are they natural dyes or?
I think she uses. She grows them in advanced road, madder, goldenrod, dock. What else she is? Yes, all grown in the garden.
Lovely. They're fabulous colours. She's got some lovely depth of colour.
Yeah.
Quite often they're not as deep, are they? Sometimes, but she's got some.
Yeah, it's a natural yarn. Can be quite wishy-washy sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. And then she's got these kits. I believe these are probably on her website.
Yes, you've got a card. You ought to take a card.
So lovely kits here. How sweet those mittens are with a little bit of embroidery on. Is it Lazy Daisy hand warmers? I might come back and buy that pattern and some yarn myself later to do that. So really, some really lovely projects. So do go onto our website. I love these socks.
Yes.
It's called the Sofa Surfer. Coming from Cornwall, that's quite topical. So another new to me yarn is Nellie and Eve, and Helen is the owner, and she's going to talk us through her yarns.
Okay, so new to Unravel and to my website is Tresori. Tresori is a Welsh word that means treasure,
And you're
this
based in Wales, aren't
and
you?
I'm based in Wales. And this yarn is something that I do treasure because it's made from the sheep that I look after in Wales. It's 100% Beulah speckled face, which is a native sheep to the actual area that I live in Wales. And I've dyed it up in lots of lovely autumnal shades.
And you use natural dyes, don't you?
These are all natural dyes.
Oh, look at that stunning autumnal palette.
Inspired
Gorgeous.
by the landscape of Wales.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
that's Tresori,
And that's 4-ply?
and that is 4-ply. The next yarn I have is British, so I only use British and or local wool to spin up yarn, and this is British. This is Dale's 50-50, which is a blend of Blueface Leicester and Masson, 50-50 of each. And again, I've got it in lots of different plant dyed colours, and that is also 4-ply. It does come in a DK base as well, which I have. The sample is knitted in 50-50.
It's a lovely variant as well.
And that is a little shawl.
Is that what it's good for, this sort of fibre?
Well, I think actually it's good for, you can actually hold it double, hence a little sample,
Oh, very nice.
which then makes a lovely DK weight as well. Good for shawls, good for lightweight little tops, this kind of thing.
Is that, I looked at that yesterday, didn't
Yeah.
I? It was called the what?
That
Easy.
is the Dead Easy.
Dead
sweater.
Easy. I know it was Easy was in
By
there. And I
Karen
did look
Fernandez.
at, I did add it to my Ravelry last night.
And I really recommend it. That sample is actually knitted up in my limited edition, which is made from my neighbour's Shetland sheep.
It's a lovely colour. It's a lovely natural grey,
Natural
isn't
grey,
it?
Yeah. So
it's
that's the
beautiful.
undyed. And then I've got
And you said this only took a couple of skeins, or one? You've got one.
that
100
particular
grams.
sample is one skein.
Is that knitted on big needles?
5.5.
Oh, right. A bit
Yeah.
like the Ranunculus is knitted
Yes.
on a big needle.
Yeah, just to make gauge.
It's lovely over a dress.
Lovely over a dress.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what else do I have?
Might be a purchase for me later on. I did say I was only buying sweater quantities, so that's justified.
Well, there are sweater quantity, one skein. I am a bit of a one skein person. I like to not waste things. I don't like having little bits of yarn left at the end of a project. So that's one skein. This is one skein. The shawl over here is one skein.
It's the lights.
That's made of DK.
And
So
you,
yeah,
it's not, because of the lights there, you can't see the colours so much. But check out this stunning cardigan as well. This colour is gorgeous. It's like a real peachy pink.
it actually goes with quite a lot of stuff as well.
It'd be a very flattering colour to wear, I think.
That cardigan is the ochre cardigan by a designer called Amber O'Brien.
That's nice. Again, lovely with white. So we're in a heat wave, so we're all perspiring it. And I bought one of these fabulous bags, which are unique to you.
Yes.
The Bento project. Look how ideal for me, because this is going to take all my purchases home today. And you've got these little, do you want to show us these little project bags that you've got here?
Yeah, designed by me and made by a lovely lady who has a company called Carpenter and Cloth, based in Wales. All Welsh wool, organic cotton, which has been dyed by me. And yeah, as you can see, it's
Got a little magnetic clasp,
Yeah,
isn't it?
this is really sweet.
So,
It's like a little.
are these on your website normally?
They are going to be on my shop update on the 14th of September.
So go and visit Helen's website. But as you can see, some of these will be making their way home with me today. And I am trying to persuade Helen to let me stock some of her beautiful yarns in the shop too. But do go and visit her website and follow her on Instagram.